There's a moment in every confrontation when the air thickens, when pride wants to take over and ego starts screaming. You've been there. Someone raises their voice, points their finger, and waits for you to react. Most people explode, but not you, not anymore, because you're about to learn what true control looks like, the kind of control that silences chaos without saying a word. Stoicism teaches that the battlefield is never out there. It's in your response. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but your estimate of it. The moment you understand that, you realize something dangerous. Your silence is not surrender, it's power." The calm man isn't weak, he's calculating. He knows that reacting gives his enemy the keys to his own mind. You must become that man, the one who stays composed while others unravel, the one who wins without shouting, the one who holds his peace like a blade. When others lose control, they reveal everything, their fears, their insecurities, their desperation to be heard. But the one who stays calm, he reveals nothing. That's why silence unnerves people. They expect you to react, to defend, to break, but when you stand there steady, when your breathing stays slow and your eyes don't flinch, they start to question themselves. You've turned the confrontation into a mirror, and they're forced to look at their own chaos. Remember this truth. The loudest voice in the room rarely has the most authority. Control is quiet. Strength doesn't announce itself. It radiates. You don't have to prove anything through volume. You prove it through presence. Every time you choose calm over reaction, you're training your mind to obey you. You're not suppressing emotion. You're mastering it. That's the difference between a man who reacts and a man who reigns. Every reaction costs you energy. Every argument drains your focus. The wise understand this. They protect their energy like a fortress. When someone provokes you, they're really asking for access to your peace. Never grant it for free. Your composure is your currency. Spend it only where it multiplies your strength. In modern psychology, this is emotional regulation. In Stoicism, it's mastery of the self. The untrained mind reacts. The disciplined mind decides. Before you respond, pause, ask, will this make me stronger or smaller? That question alone can save you from chaos. Because what people call winning an argument is usually just losing control in disguise. The Stoic doesn't fight for ego. He fights for equilibrium. His goal is not victory over others, but dominion over himself. And once you realize this, you'll stop chasing noise and start commanding silence. When a man masters his reaction, he becomes untouchable. You can insult him, ignore him, even betray him, but you cannot shake him. That's what terrifies people who thrive on drama. They feed on your emotional reaction. They need your chaos to validate their control. But when you give them nothing, no raised voice, no angry words, no visible frustration, you starve their power. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom begins the moment you refuse to be ruled by impulse. Remember, composure is not passivity, it's precision. You're not avoiding the fight, you're choosing your terrain. And on your terrain, emotion has no leverage. You don't fight for dominance, you hold dominion. Because the calm man isn't detached from the battle, he's simply above it. People think power comes from domination. It doesn't. Power comes from discipline, the refusal to be moved by noise. When someone yells, mocks, or tries to corner you, they want one thing, your reaction. Don't give it. The Stoic warrior doesn't fight in every arena. He chooses his battlegrounds wisely. Your silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. Every second you don't react is a second you gather strength. You're observing, calculating, waiting, because when you finally speak, your words will land like stone, deliberate, unshakable, final. The world respects the man who doesn't flinch under fire. The calm in the storm commands more than the storm itself. Train yourself to be that calm, to speak little, but when you do, to speak with such clarity that even chaos listens. Control your reactions, and you control the outcome. Here's a truth most people never face. The one who talks the most usually listens the least. When tempers flare, arguments become performances, not conversations. But a Stoic refuses to perform. He doesn't need to win the crowd. He needs to preserve his integrity. Next time someone speaks with hostility, don't match their tone. Slow it down. Lower your voice. Let their noise echo in the silence you create. Psychology calls this disarming energy. Stoicism calls it command. Because when you refuse to mirror chaos, you expose it. You make the other person face their own loss of control while you remain composed. It's not manipulation, it's leadership. The ability to hold still while the world spins. You're not running from confrontation, you're redefining it. The moment you stop competing with noise, you start radiating power. There will be moments when someone tries to drag you into their emotional storm, to make you defend yourself, to make you prove something. Don't fall for it. Their goal isn't truth, it's control. When you engage on their level, you hand them your composure. The Stoic doesn't descend, he invites others to rise. That's why the phrase, "let's talk when we can do it," respectfully holds such force. You're not dismissing them, you're drawing a boundary. You're saying, if you want access to my energy, earn it with respect. This principle is both ancient and modern. In psychology, it's boundary setting. In philosophy, it's virtue. The strong don't fight every battle. They set the terms of engagement. The weak react. The wise decide when and where to respond. Your stillness isn't withdrawal, it's strategy. Because peace without boundaries isn't peace. It's submission. Sometimes the wisest move is retreat, not out of fear, but out of intelligence. There's no value in debating with someone who has already closed their mind. Words can't penetrate arrogance, and reason cannot reach the unwilling. That's when you use the phrase, "I'd prefer not to continue this conversation." It's not cold, it's controlled. You're declaring, my peace is not up for negotiation. You don't storm out. You don't argue. You simply exit with dignity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And that's exactly what this does. It separates you from emotional warfare. Walking away is not defeat, it's dominion. You are not obligated to engage with every voice that demands your attention. Energy, once wasted, never returns in full, so protect it like a sacred resource. The strong end conversations, the weak prolong them. When you master withdrawal, you master leverage. The moment you stop reacting, the power dynamic reverses. The aggressor loses their fuel, the manipulator loses their control. They realize you can't be provoked, and that realization is terrifying to them. You've become what Stoics call apatheia, not apathy, but serene invulnerability. You no longer need to shout, defend, or explain yourself to be understood. Your energy speaks for you. The modern mind calls it emotional detachment. The ancient mind calls it virtue. Either way, it's freedom. You're not cold, you're clear. You're not distant, you're deliberate. Let people think what they want. They only see what their own ego allows them to see. You don't live to convince. You live to remain composed. The man who no longer fears misunderstanding has already outgrown the world that demands it. Not every disagreement deserves a battlefield. Sometimes the highest form of strength is measured in restraint. You can respect someone's right to speak without accepting their version of truth. That's why the phrase, "that's your opinion," and I respect it, but I don't share it, is a weapon of calm power. It cuts through arrogance without a drop of hostility. You're saying, "I hear you, but I stand firm in my own clarity." Seneca warned, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." The same applies to belief. When you let every opinion sway you, you lose yourself. The Stoic doesn't reject others. He simply refuses to abandon his principles. Every time you calmly assert your independence, you remind the world that your mind is not a playground for external validation. You choose conviction over conformity, and that's what earns silent respect. The modern world celebrates loud opinions and fast reactions. Everyone wants to speak first, prove first, dominate first. But the Stoic knows that the first to react is usually the first to fall. True command is patient. It watches, listens, and only strikes when the words are sharp enough to cut through illusion. The disciplined mind doesn't rush to defend its worth. It already knows its value. You don't need to convince others when you've already convinced yourself. The moment you stop defending your self-worth, you start embodying it. You speak less, but your words weigh more. You do less, but your actions echo further. This is not arrogance, it's alignment. The man who has nothing to prove is the man who can't be controlled. That is the level of stillness you must train for, to become unprovocable in a world built on reaction. To reach that level, you must build discipline in solitude. No one can hand you emotional control. It's earned in silence, through repetition. When you wake up, train your mind before you face the world. Reflect before you speak. Pause before you respond. That's how Stoic strength is forged, not in grand gestures, but in quiet decisions made 1,000 times a day. You learn to separate emotion from impulse, urgency from importance, noise from truth. Remember, Anger always promises control, but it delivers slavery the moment you react without thinking. You're no longer leading your life. You're following your emotions. Don't let temporary feelings destroy permanent peace. Every breath of patience adds to your power. Every delay in reaction strengthens your command. Discipline is not about suppressing emotion. It's about mastering timing, the art of responding only when it serves your purpose. The world respects calm because it's rare. Most people live as emotional reactors. They're predictable, easy to provoke, easy to control. But when you embody composure, you become unpredictable. They can't read you, can't manipulate you, can't pull you into their storms. That's what makes a Stoic dangerous. Your stillness unnerves them because it exposes their lack of control. Every insult they throw bounces off your silence. Every attempt to trigger you collapses into frustration. And that's when they realize you're not playing the same game. You've transcended it. Marcus Aurelius called this rising above the waves. You are the calm sea beneath the storm. You don't resist it. You absorb it and remain whole. This is how you earn respect without demanding it. Through power expressed as peace, the world bows to the one who cannot be shaken. When you reach that point, everything changes. People begin to speak differently around you. They measure their words. They hesitate before provoking you because they sense your discipline. You no longer have to demand respect. Your energy commands it. This is the paradox of Stoic power. The quieter you become, the louder your presence grows. Your restraint becomes a mirror, forcing others to confront their own lack of control. You're no longer reacting to life. You're directing it. This is emotional leadership, the ability to steer energy rather than be swept away by it. And make no mistake, leadership isn't about control over others. It's about control over yourself in every moment. No matter how heated, unfair, or chaotic, when your calm becomes unbreakable, every room you enter changes, because your stillness carries weight. And that weight shifts everything around it. Remember this, every confrontation is an invitation, not to destroy someone else, but to master yourself. The Stoic warrior wins before he even speaks, because he has already conquered his reactions. Let others raise their voices. Yours carries more power in silence. Let others demand to be right. You demand to remain composed. The 5 responses of the disciplined mind are simple: calm under attack, boundaries under pressure, dignity in disagreement, withdrawal from chaos, and independence in thought. Practice them until they become instinct. Because once they do, you will no longer argue for control. You will embody it. You will no longer seek respect. You will radiate it. The world will feel your stillness and listen. And when they ask how you do it, tell them the truth. I mastered my emotions, and therefore, I mastered my life. Before you go, remember this: knowledge means nothing without action. The world doesn't change because you watched another video. It changes when you decide to live differently. So, starting today, practice what you've heard, guard your peace, master your reactions, speak less, but with intention. Every calm response is one step closer to self-command. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to reflect and write your thoughts in the comments below. Not for me, but for yourself, to declare your commitment to growth. Someone else might read your words and find their strength because of you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for walking this path of inner discipline. Stay grounded, stay strong, and remember, power is calm. You're listening to Stoic Psychology,